All right, good morning or afternoon, depending on what class period you're in. This is the first couple slides that you need to be answering the questions to on the major players of the American Civil War. This is the slide that is titled The Fallout of Fort Sumter. So in class, we already went over a review of everything that we learned about last week as far as these events that led up to the beginning of the American Civil War. And we left off with the very first battle being Fort Sumter on April 12th, 1861, which ended in a Confederate victory of which there were no casualties. Now, what happens after Fort Sumter? Well, the first thing that happens is that Lincoln decides that now that shots have been fired, there's no going back. There is no more political or diplomatic negotiations in resolving this issue, so we are now going to war. So he immediately calls for 75,000 volunteer citizens. These are regular, ordinary, everyday people who are farmers and bankers and lawyers and just regular middle-class citizens to leave their private homes and join the Army or the Navy and help with the cause of keeping the Union together and defeating slavery. He really needs the volunteers to guard the national capital, which is Washington, D.C. The standing army at the beginning of the Civil War was only a couple 10,000 soldiers that were really only kept in uniform in order to protect the United States from any imminent invasion. We now have to build an entire army in order to fight a full-scale conventional war. 4 other states that had not seceded prior to the falling of Fort Sumter go ahead and declare secession after the Confederate victory, and that is Virginia, Tennessee, Arkansas, and North Carolina. And those are the states here: Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Arkansas. Remember, the Gulf states had already seceded prior to Fort Sumter. Virginia is a big deal because they are the most popular state. They have the highest population. They have an enormous amount of manufacturing capabilities. They also have an enormous amount of agricultural capabilities. They're a direct link to seaports, home to 7 presidents up to this point. They are the most well-known state in the Union at this time, not only to Americans, but to foreigners as well. When people talk about the United States who are from Europe, they know Virginia very well. So that's a big deal that Virginia has decided to come on and on the side of the Confederates. As a result, because it is the most popular and most populous state in the Union, they choose the city of Richmond, Virginia as its national capital, which is only a couple dozen miles away from Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is not on this map, but it's right about here on the border of Maryland and Virginia. In fact, at some points in each city, at high points in each city, you can look across and you can actually see the other national capitals. So they're going to be very, very close together, these 2 national capitals. And finally, the Confederate government also calls for 100,000 citizen volunteers to fight for the cause of the Confederacy. Both sides agree in 1861 at the beginning that it will be a white man's war only. African Americans, free or slave, will not be allowed to participate in this conflict, as everybody tries to not answer the elephant in the room, which is this war about Union or is this war about slavery? It will eventually become a war about slavery, but at the outset, everybody's going, no. It's just this idea that we either have to be a whole country, we can't be 2 separate countries. So that is it for this slide. Go ahead and make your way over to the next slide, whatever that may be. And good luck with the rest of it.